I know they're out there, watching me. But in all my years in the wild, I've never caught more than a fleeting glimpse of the ghost.
Every second of cat footage that you get is like gold.
But the treasure hunt is on.
Had a brave kitty come out of a tree. Headed that way, we better follow.
Entering the world of the mountain lion, I'll pull out all the stops.
Whoa, it's a big, tall mountain lion.
I'm actually blood brothers with the mountain lion. He leapt to bite me in the throat. I was done.
I'll face an animal that almost took my life, showcasing the techniques and anatomy of an ambush predator.
Watch him move around. I mean, to be this close to a mountain lion.
In the field, my buddy Tyler and his 2 hounds make the perfect teammates.
Here, good girl. Here you go, buddy.
We'll play the ultimate game of hide and seek.
There's a female somewhere in the race. She stashed her kittens, and she's just being a really good female.
And we'll attempt the impossible,
We're going stealth.
walking out onto the edge to catch a glimpse.
It's right there, stop.
Mountain lions have been haunting me since I was a little boy. I'd go out with my dad hiking, and we'd see these tracks. But we never saw the animal.
If you've walked a mile in the woods in Montana, a mountain lion has probably seen you. But very few people ever see the animal that is called by many names, including cougar, puma, and screamer. So when my buddy Tyler called me with a crazy story, I grabbed my camera and raced out the door to meet him.
Right there, by the sidewalk. Man, that is a perfect little den. So tell me exactly what happened again.
Well, I was walking down this cliff band right here, and I come around this boulder, and I mean, no more than just a few feet away, there was a hole in the side of the mountain. And I knelt down and stuck my head in there, and a female lion just about ripped my face off. And I just ducked and grabbed my neck, because I'm trying to save my life. And I just went rolling down the hill, and that cat come right by me and brushed my shoulder, and that was it. Didn't touch me, nothing. And I managed to get my little pocket camera out.
What happened? I was walking in these footsteps, right here.
And I crawl back up to the cave, and there's kittens in there. And I get a couple snapshots, but I'm so insanely rattled. I didn't get much, but immediately I call Casey, you know, and I'm like, this is just unbelievable. I just found a lion den. That was probably the freakiest moment in my whole wilderness career. I really didn't spend much time there. I mean, I was so freaked out. Yeah. I'm lucky I even got a couple clips there. See if we can't see them, you know.
Yeah. Looks like there's something moving around in there.
Right
See
in
the
the upper
cave
right
entrance
there.
Yeah, you see that? That's exactly. It looks like it could be a kid. Man,
Oh, yeah.
that is so cool. And in all the years, I've only seen a few mountain lions, but to be sitting here looking into a mountain lion den and seeing little kittens,
It's about as rare as it gets, you know.
it really is.
In the combined time that Tyler and I have spent in the woods in our lifetime, neither of us have ever seen this situation before.
You know, Mama's around here somewhere.
Hopefully not sneaking up behind us.
Yeah, no kidding.
As a naturalist and filmmaker, I've tracked and observed all kinds of animals, capturing incredible moments on film. But the very thing that makes mountain lions intriguing is the fact that they are so difficult to find. Scientists don't even have a precise idea of their population, which could range between 10 and 50,000 in North America. And it's almost impossible to get footage of a cat in the wild, even here in Montana, in prime mountain lion habitat.
But here's this animal who's smarter than us, stealthier than us, maybe the most elusive animal in all of North America. If you do see any footage, it's a captive cat, you know, and I've worked with captive mountain lions, so I actually sometimes even recognize the individuals, and I'm like, well, it's disappointing. I want to see a mountain lion in the wild doing wild things, and I see Tommy You know, the cat I used to pet and scratch under the chin walking across the mountainside. And I think, well, it's beautiful, but I want to get a wildcat.
Our shots of kittens who are just weeks old are unbelievable, and we want more. In our quest to capture rare images of the stealthy predators, there'll be no guarantees.
Hey, guys.
But we have a secret weapon, Tyler's 2 incredible
Ready
hounds.
to go? You guys get rested? Yeah. Yeah. This is Nellie. Me and Nellie love each other, don't we? Don't we? I've known Nellie since she was a little tiny puppy. And this is Chase over here. Chase is all about chasing cats. And then eating, sleeping, and then starting all over again. He's an old veteran, but you can see they're pretty spoiled. And this is Goose. He's our trail companion. Ready to go out in the mountains? All right, let's go.
Like me, Tyler grew up in the woods of Montana, and he practically lives in the backcountry.
This is a good elk camp.
He spends so much time guiding, hunting, and filming that he thinks like an animal.
Grizzly bear, I want to see which way he goes. He might go right to my camp.
Wildly remote places and insane conditions don't even faze him.
Here is the fun part.
This is the guy you want with you when you're gonna head out and do something crazy.
Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go.
All right. You guys ready to go? Ready to hit the trail? All right, let's go.
You know, you always have your dogs ready. I mean, they're locked and loaded. My dogs know when I put the truck in park and get out to look for a track, they're already smashing their nose up against the window and slobbering, ready to rock. So they know what's going on.
Grab one of the hounds.
So it's a perfect day. There's fresh snow. Hound dogs are fired up. They're ready to do what they're bred to do, and that's find fresh tracks, follow. You guys are excited, huh? So these are really cool. These are GPS collars. So we know where these dogs are going at all times. Come here, Nellie. Come here. Tight enough, everything?
Yep. It's good.
I mean, look at these little guys. They're all muscle, just like the cat they're gonna chase. When you're going after mountain lions, you're gonna go up some steep, rugged terrain. So no carrying big, fancy Hollywood-style cameras. We're going lightweight. Gotta do it.
We start by surveying the mountain lions in the area to get a sense of who they are and where they're hanging out. This is the world where our kittens must learn to survive. We couldn't begin this project without the dogs.
So really, we're just capitalizing on that age-old battle, cat versus dog. These dogs are designed to smell cat tracks and close that gap, and there's really no other way to find these cats. Researchers use hound dogs to find cats. You can learn a lot from these dogs. Yeah. Oh, cool. Right here is like a perfect cat track right in the ice. So, cat for sure. Looks good.
Goose heel. Goose heel.
Wow, rugged stuff.
Once we let these dogs off leash, they're gonna follow the scent until they reach the cat. So the track must be fresh, ideally less than 12 hours old. If it's older, the cat could be a mountain range away, and the dogs could be running for days. But no matter how long it takes, Tyler and I will follow Chase and Nellie and bring them home safely.
I mean, where a cat goes, people can't usually go. That's why we got the dogs. Now, we're gonna watch the GPS and see where they're going. Hopefully they catch a cat.
So they're pushing out. Nellie is like 650 yards, and Chase is like 100 yards behind her, but
This is really cool because we can literally see right on this topographic map where the dogs are exactly.
so we're that little black triangle by the arrow.
Right there, okay.
And that's the actual two dogs' tracks paralleling the bottom.
Okay.
Let's get moving.
Tyler is a human hound dog. He knows these woods like the back of his hand. He's looking at this unit. He's with his dogs. He can see them. He's like, they're on that rocky ridge that he's been on 1,000 times, and they're dropping down here, and he's seeing how this cat's moving. He's visualizing this whole scene.
We've got the animation of the dogs in a tree position, which is what we want.
There's a little icon on this GPS that actually shows a dog up against the trunk of a tree. So that collar knows when they sit still in one spot for a while that they're at a tree, so looks good.
Steep.
Steep country, as you can see. This is why mountain lions like this place. It's steep, they can get away, hide, look out, watch prey, go down and kill it, eat, and come back up here. We trail the dogs for hours, tracking their progress on the GPS. Finally, we can hear their howls. We're getting close.
Let's just try to sneak in there.
They got the cat up a tree right below us here. We gotta be careful. We move in too fast, it'll overwhelm the cat, and the cat will jump out of the tree, and we'll start all over again. So the dog's got this cat at the tree, and Nellie's practically like a cat. She tries to climb up and get to it. We gotta get her down so she doesn't hurt herself. Where are you gonna come with it? Which side? Come here, Nellie. Come here, girl. Oh, got her. Oh, you crazy little girl. Stay out of the tree. So Tyler's moved the dogs out, and now I can just sit back and look at something that I've only seen a few times in my entire life. Right up there, a male mountain lion. How cool is that? What an amazing experience to be right here. All my life, I've walked all over these woods. We've never been this close to a mountain lion. But to really appreciate these iconic predators, I like to get hands-on. To truly understand and appreciate the mountain lion, there's no better way than getting close. And that's almost impossible in the wild, but we can do that with animal ambassadors. And today, we have a Tilly. He's gonna show us how awesome these cats really are. Whenever I work with animals in captivity, I'm always on guard. Even with Brutus, despite our lifelong bond, I'd be no match for him if he became aggressive. So I'm always trying to stay one step ahead, constantly reading his body language, ready to pull back if he disagrees with the game plan. But with cats, my already heightened awareness is taken to the next level.
I'm actually blood brothers with the mountain lion.
His name is Simba, a wild-born orphan cougar I worked with in my early days as an animal handler. Simba taught me a valuable lesson about these predators.
I'll never forget it, just looking down and seeing this look in his face. His ears were flat to his head, his eyes were dilated, and he was just locked in. He leapt to bite me in the throat. And at the very last second, I reached up and grabbed him by his throat, knowing that if he was to bite me, I was done. So he's sinking his claws in and he's pulling himself. I'm losing the battle. He's getting closer and closer and closer. But what happened then is when he picked his hind legs up, he lost leverage. So we kind of spun and fell to the ground really hard, bang, and hit the ground. And in that moment, that jolt was enough to stop him in his attack mode, state of mind. And he went to somewhere else, and I recognized that. And I grabbed his leash, put it on really fast, and tried to go with that, because I did not want him to go back to the attack mode. And he stayed into this like walking mode. I walked him a quarter mile down to his trailer, loaded him up, and went to the hospital and got stitched up. And every day since that day, I think about mountain lions. I wake up every morning, I look down at my arm, I have scars on my arms, and I will think about mountain lions every day for the rest of my life.
So today, respect is my #1 priority as I lead a Tilly through a series of challenges I've devised to showcase the abilities of one of nature's most proficient and elegant predators. First up, let's see how these cats move with a classic game of cat and mouse.
Hey, buddy, you wanna come over here? Watch him move around. I mean, to be this close to a mountain lion. I mean, they're doing this out in the wild every day, cutting around, chasing down deer.
Notice how Attila uses the power of his hind legs to anchor the quick, nimble movements of his front legs. This versatility defines cougars, who possess both the brute force of larger cats like lions and tigers, coupled with the agility of small house cats.
Mountain lions have the strongest back legs of any cat. And that alone makes them some of the best leapers in the world.
Watch Attila jump for the lure. In the wild, mountain lions can leap almost 2 stories high.
Good job, bud.
We move to the ramp challenge to study the physiology behind the mountain lion's astounding horizontal leap. Attila's flexible spine arcs as he crouches, planting his hind legs in preparation for a tremendous forward lunge. Extending through the entire length of its body, which can be as long as 8 feet from head to tail, the cat flies, covering distances up to 40 feet in a single bound. This gives the hunter powerful momentum as it sinks its teeth into the neck, separates the vertebrae, and severs the spinal cord of its unsuspecting victim. With the force and precision of this impact, the cat can take down an animal 8 times its size, making it pound for pound the strongest of the large predators. After witnessing the athletic prowess of this amazing hunter, I'm more driven than ever to track down the cats in my own backyard. Over the next few weeks, Nellie and Chase help Tyler and me continue our survey of the cats in the area. They never lose enthusiasm for their job.
Good dog!
The cats just hang out. Their escape strategy is an old trick. Superior climbing skills allow cats to avoid less agile pursuers, like wolves.
Tyler's gonna round up the hounds. I'm gonna go hide right over here in this stump. And hopefully, the cat's gonna come out, and I'm gonna film it sneaking away.
Sometimes the cat's retreat is the most impressive part of the encounter. Plenty of days aren't so eventful.
Good thing you broke trail a little bit for me.
All we get for our long, cold hike is frozen faces and tired feet.
And I'll tell you what, it's not Old Glory. Snowshoes. Man, this hill's steep, the snow's deep. It's kind of funny. Tyler's directions. Meet me where the mountains touch the clouds. And he wasn't kidding. The mountains are touching the clouds way up here. That's where the mountain lions live.
But we keep at it. The dogs help us as we start to map the residents of this feline neighborhood. We find several young cats who probably haven't been out on their own for long. Alert and cautious, they watch our every move. One cat can't seem to get high enough and climbs far into the reaches of a huge tree.
How cool is that?
Weeks into our search near the cave where we found the kittens, we discover a cat who turns our heads. One Eye. This massive mature Tom must be the dominant male in his area. He's clearly been in a battle or two.
I believe his eye was torn out by another cat. In the world of male mountain lions, it is vicious because they're always asserting their dominance to the point where they'll kill any other Tom that they can.
Males like One Eye compete ferociously for mates. They'll even attack and kill kittens to eliminate future competition in their territory.
This cat is legit. I mean, he's a warrior. He's the biggest, baddest Tom in this territory. Here's this cat that wakes up every morning, goes out, kills an elk, defends it from wolves, grizzly bears. When he's not doing that, he's defending his territory fighting other big toms. And in the process of his life, he's lost an eye, his ears are tore off, and this cat can't go to the vet. This cat can't take antibiotics. He just wakes up the next day and does it all over again. This cat is a tough cat. And I know our little family of cats is out there with this big guy looming around. And it's adding to the drama a lot.
We've got to track down these kittens before the toms do. We start searching for Mom in earnest.
From my experience, this looks like a female, because you see kind of the teardrop shape to the toe there.
Right.
It seems like those toms are a lot chunkier, like a grape, you know?
We're up here looking for tracks. See a little bit of a disturbance down here in the snow. There's a mountain lion kill. Bad news is the cat was just here and this thing is completely cleaned. So, good news, Tyler's got his hounds. He's walking just over the ridge here, so I'm gonna see if I can whistle him in and we can follow this cat with the dogs, see what it is. Maybe it's our female.
Yeah. Old kill. Nibbled on it last night, huh?
Yeah, I think it was definitely here last night. Oh, yeah. You guys see that? They're into it. Nothing left. The lower mandible. I mean, that thing picks every little chunk of meat off that. Are you guys ready to do this? You ready to do this? If anybody's gonna find this cat, Chase and Ellie are the ones that can do it. All right, guys.
Let's try it.
Even experts have a hard time keeping track of a scent on a windswept hill. So we all work together. The dogs move until they lose the trail. We spot a lone track and set them back on course.
Here, good girl. Pretty unique situation. Usually the dogs are long gone. Usually don't get to hunt with them as much. So it's unique and kind of cool. Here you go, buddy. That's the wonderful sound of hound dogs at a tree barking because there's something up in it. There's an old mountain lion track right there. That's that female. This is their territory. Look at it.
Sure enough, it's a female cat. She watches nervously. And before we can get the dogs away from the tree, she makes a move.
She bailed. The dogs are going straight down. This is some gnarly avalanche. Sometimes the best way is just to slide. Had a brave kitty come out of a tree. Headed that way. We better follow. So the female, she's now in her second tree. She jumped out of that first tree up there. And she's just being a really good female. Somewhere in the race, she stashed her kittens, and all she's trying to do is just lure us away from her kittens and be protective of her kittens. So what we gotta do now, to prevent this female from jumping again, is get in there, grab those dogs, and peel out of here. We've already learned this is her territory. It's gonna be a great place to come back and look for kills. Now it's just time to grab the team and get out. After a long hard day of catching a mountain lion, it's all yours.
I love these dogs so much, I told Tyler that I needed to be the godparent of the dogs. So if anything ever happened to him, that I get the dogs. And he agreed.
Dog pile. You did good today.
Thanks to the hounds, we've seen a lot of cats. But they've also seen us. The behaviors we're most anxious to film take place when we're not around. We're gonna switch up our strategy and set up hidden cameras where the mountain lion's most basic instincts take center stage, at the site of their kills.
So I got a phone call about a potential mountain lion kill. And sure enough, here it is, right on a trail. Now, this trail's not far from my house.
But this mountain lion looks like it killed this elk up on the hill here, drug it down to the trail, drug it down the trail a little bit, and has been feeding on it. If you can see here, this is where that mountain lion has actually gone inside, eaten the heart and lungs, and is starting to chew on these ribs. Now, there's a lot of meat here, so I have a really good feeling this mountain lion is gonna come back. And I can see right here where this cat has been coming in and out. Look right here. Nice mountain lion track. It's been coming right here, so it'd be great to set up a camera here to get the cat as it comes into the kill, and then we'll surround the kill with some camera traps, and then I'll put one up in this tree and get an overhead view. That'll be really cool. The first camera we started using was a camera called a Reconyx camera, and it's your basic kind of trail camera. Something moves in front of it, it'll take a picture, both day and night. As darkness falls, we make our final adjustments, cross our fingers, and head out. Less than 30 minutes after we leave, the cat arrives. But it doesn't go back to feeding. That cat came in and he knew, the cameras were there, and he didn't like it. Very nervous, looked around a little bit, and then slipped out. When we get back in the morning, we can't see any evidence of feeding. We think we'd missed the cat. Only after looking at our footage do we discover it returned. These cats make a living by being stealthy. They make a living by not being around people.
Got this elusive, wild killer, and we see the side of him that's just so beautiful and so majestic and so in control. And in a millisecond, that's the animal that can take down an elk and kill the thing with its claws. They're ferocious. There's a side that I don't get to see, and that's that vicious, killer.
Our success with motion trigger cameras has inspired some serious trekking. We'll haul anything, anywhere for a chance to film at a kill. Check this out. This is where a mountain lion has killed a mule deer. Right here was the impact zone. The mountain lion probably ambushed that deer, took it down to the ground right here, and then you can see where the mountain lion has drug it up the hill. From the evidence left at the scene, I can imagine the takedown, but no one ever witnesses the moment of impact. To get closer to this lethal act, we return to Attili. Attili has never hunted in the wild, but we want to find out if deep down he still has the instincts of a killer. Are you ready for a mountain lion to attack you? Well, tough luck. Little does this deer know that looming over there in the trees is a mountain lion. He's perfectly camouflaged. He emerges into the open and crouches in a classic stalking pose, head lowered, every move calculated, every footstep covert. Deer's looking the other direction. You can tell a lot by that tail. When they get interested in prey, they flick their tail in excitement. He's taking slow steps and keeping low, keeping his focus. A closer look reveals some of the hunter's most important weapons. Long whiskers, connected directly to sensitive nerves, detect everything they touch and sense the slightest movements in the air, helping the cat locate prey. Add to that super light sensitive eyes with a special reflective surface, and you have an animal that is lethal, even under the cover of darkness. Attili moves in. This is when the lion in the wild would close the remaining gap with a lightning fast sprint. But Attili, in his first hunt, is more curious than deadly. He sniffs the decoy.
Although his natural instinct is he's still kicking in here. And he can't help himself. He wants to bite that thing in the neck. Killed it. Went for the death bite on the neck, the trachea. Now it's time for the cat to drag it back in the trees, start to eat on it, and get it in cover where other predators can't find it.
Tilly clutches his kill tightly, acting just like the cat who left evidence of the takedown.
Look at this. A little mule deer doe.
There's still quite a bit of meat left. So that means this cat will likely come back. All right, let's see what we're gonna get.
In the morning, we hike back in to see if anything has visited the kill.
It looks like the cat came back. Let's check the camera traps.
After so much preparation, this moment never gets old.
Look at that.
It's not just any cat that's returned, it's our kitten.
Unbelievable. One little single kitten comes in, kind of assesses, and you're kind of wondering, where's that little kitten doing? And then mom comes in, the looks on our face were just like, whoa! It wasn't just one cat. It was our female and her kittens, and they returned to this kill.
The kittens, who have not yet grown out of their spotted coats, still depend entirely on mom.
Talk about kid at Christmas, you know, because we didn't know that we had the entire family there.
Mom devotes all of her energy to feeding and sheltering the kittens. She must make a kill every 3 days to feed this hungry litter.
You know, she's stashed those kittens away, and she's bringing them back to the kill to eat. And these kittens gather around mom. Mom's being very vigilant, watching, allowing her kittens go to the kill and feed. And she's just watching out for their safety. She's teaching them. She was the reason why we started this whole thing. And all of a sudden, here she is.
They had a lot of feeding and a lot of like hierarchy where, you know, you could tell one was more dominant than the other. You could see a runt there. The runt actually would be feeding when the other ones were sleeping with mom. The way that the Reconyx camera traps work, you know, it needs some motion. Well, with 4 cats laying there, something was always moving.
She was very vigilant. You know, she was always watching out. She really never let her guard down. And there's a good reason for that. I mean, these little kittens live in a super hostile environment. And there's wolves, there's other mountain lions out there, big males that would love to kill them. What happened next kind of proved that point.
Tyler and I have found the kittens again. Now we're obsessed with keeping them in our sights. With a huge dominant male in the area, urgency grips us. The kittens could be in real danger. We want to learn as much as we can about their movements before it's too late. Today, we're checking the cameras at the cave where we hope they've been denning.
So I set this camera trap up because right over there is a cave.
I head inside the cave to check another camera. In the darkness, I see one big reason Mom might be worried. One Eye, the tough male who we treat with the dogs. He sniffs, likely checking for the scent of other cats. Then he records his own visit, spraying the floor of the cave before heading back out into the snow. It looks like there's some scrapes in here. And what scrapes are when Tom lions go around, they actually mark their territory by leaving these little scent patterns.
What he did blew our minds. He wasn't going in there to get out of the weather. He wasn't going in there to chill out. He was going in there to leave his mark, to let everybody in this area know this is his territory and this is his cave. Other cats will come along, smell it, leave their scent, and then that cat will come back into this cave and see who's visited. And I don't want to be in here when he does. Very cool. As far as I know, it's the first time this behavior's ever been documented in a cave. It's awesome. Bad news is he's sharing this territory with our female, the kittens.
So a few weeks later, we're relieved to find a whole bunch of kitten tracks.
There are mountain lion tracks everywhere. And I know that this is that female and those kittens, and they've led me to another one of their kills. Now this time, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna get really high tech.
This could be another chance to document the growing kittens. We bring in a camera that records sound and real-time motion.
We've camouflaged them. You look up there, our camera's hidden up in a tree. I have a good feeling that tonight's the night.
The cameras are ready, and when night falls, Mom returns to the kill. On the new camera, we can see and listen to Mom's efforts as she struggles to drag a carcass that's bigger than her. But these amazing images of Mom are not all we capture. The camera we place above the tracks leading to the kill shows us our kittens. They've grown since the last time we saw them, but something else has changed.
I realized that one of the kittens was not around anymore.
We only could see two. And, you know, nature's harsh. I mean, 3 kittens, you know, there is a runt. It could have starved, you know, with big males like old One Eye, even in their proximity. It's not out of the question that he didn't kill one of those kittens. They want to make sure that it's their seed that is sown in that area. They are wired to be dominant.
We've captured more footage than we ever dreamed possible, but we want to keep pushing the envelope.
Over the course of the winter, I've learned a lot from the dogs, from the camera traps. But there's one thing I really want to do. I want to find a really fresh set of tracks and just follow them and see where they go. See what the cat does. See if I can walk that cat down. I know it sounds impossible, but as a tracker, it's kind of like a dream come true. So hopefully sometime soon, I can find some tracks.
Could I ever walk down a cat without Nellie and Chase? I want to try, even if it's just to prove that none of this would be possible without the hounds. On a snowy morning, I get a phone call from Tyler.
Yes, sir.
He's found perfect fresh tracks. I think this could be the day to attempt the impossible.
Well, I can see the dogs want to go, but what do you think about trying to actually walk to this cat without using the dogs?
Well, if there was ever an opportunity, it would be right here, because
I think we should try it.
We're going stealth. Just behind this big fir tree is an old trapper's cabin that's fallen in. The mountain lion tracks lead right to it, and there's nothing going out of it. So we're gonna sneak down and see if he's inside.
we went up next to the old trapper's cabin. You know, I took my steps to go and look down in there, and I could see a track in there, but it was older. It wasn't that fresh when we were walking on.
It's going back this way. That mountain lion came off the cliff, down by the cabin, over here underneath this big fir tree, and left his scent right there.
The cat took us out on these granite ledges, straight up through the cliffs. It's wicked. I mean, we were in the footsteps of the lion.
That's like a true catwalk right there.
Against our better judgment, we follow the track out onto a rocky overhang.
We were getting into a point where all I got to do is get another 20, 30 yards and I can peek off this rock and see if these tracks are going through it or not. I got to that point, and right there, the cat was right there.
It's right there, stop. Right there. We did it. He's just laying there. He's acting like we don't see him. This is ridiculous. How many people have actually walked out a mountain lion track right to a mountain lion laying in the cliffs? And it seems impossible, but we've done it right here. A wild mountain lion. Every time I move around, he opens his eyes, he walks in on me moving around, making sure that I'm not a threat. And then once he realizes I'm not, he's doing what he is right now. He closes his eyes and just sits there. This is his mountain.
The lion is so calm, we feel brave enough to start inching in.
We just start getting closer and closer and moving in and kind of testing, testing the limit here as to what we can get. And
Yeah, that's real.
You're the one who got us out here on this cliff edge.
Crazy.
We moved down the mountain towards him. He didn't run away. He lurched out of the tree, pinned his ears, dilated eyes when he just looked at us.
Holy cow.
It's a look I've seen before. I've got scars on my body the last time I saw it. I mean, this cat is gonna back us off the mountain.
he told us, and we listened and backed out, and he laid right back down, as confident as could be.
It's unreal. First time I've ever done that. And I've caught hundreds of mountain lions.
What happened that day would be something that we will never forget.
Tyler and I feel like two big kids who just can't get enough of their backyard adventure. We've walked down a cat without the dogs, something we've never heard of anyone doing. Now we want to put it all together. Find a kill, hide, and film a mountain lion feeding in person.
We wanted to try to get actual footage, no infrared, no camera traps, literally sit in a blind and hope a cat would come so we could film it from the blind.
Nothing yet. It's all about just waiting.
After many cold nights and failed attempts, we get a shot.
The stars aligned, we found a kill, and we went for it. We put a blind up, tucked in, and it wasn't long.
Just as the sun went down, a young cat moves in, very apprehensive, kind of emerges out of the darkness, kind of assessing its situation, and comes and starts feeding. But then, another young cat enters the frame, and we realize that these are our two kittens grown up, and Mom's looming in the background.
Mom doesn't join the juveniles. She just hangs back and watches. She knows her job as a teacher and a protector is nearly done.
To see a cat going from just being tiny, spotted little kitten to basically big enough to kill a deer is pretty awesome, especially when it's an animal that you just typically never, ever see.
Sharing that moment with these same cats that started this whole project all together, it was a perfect ending.
Any day, these two strong juvenile cats will walk away from their mother and begin the solitary life of an adult mountain lion, making footprints of their own.